Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Well, the Yankees coming off their 7-2 road trip. Got a little scared with Jason Dominguez there, so I figured use the episode just kind of give you an update on his situation. Him coming up was kind of supposed to soften the blow of losing Stanton for a while, but it looks like he might have maybe needed a trip to the IL after getting hit on the inner elbow by Nathan Eovaldi there, but CAT scan showed that he's okay, so I just want to give you an update on that. A few other injuries, and of course Volpe coming back soon as he's nearing the corner return, as well as Cabrera's hitting well, so what do you do there? And of course this more of like a prevailing thought, something I kind of wanted to mention sooner, but I didn't, and that's concerning Pete Alonso as the Yankees take on the Baltimore Orioles during this weekend, and me actually being okay with hitting some home runs, as crazy as that sounds. Now, obviously, it would have to be in a losing effort, and I want the Yankees to win the game, so I don't want his home runs to, cause the Yankees to lose. But if you're going to tell me that the Yankees win the game and Pete Alonso could stick it to the Mets by hitting a couple home runs this weekend, I'm all for it, and I would sign up for that. Actually, I was kind of wanted to mention that earlier, didn't really get a chance to, and he's already hit 2 home runs in the first 2 games of this series, but the Yankees won both. So again, it's sort of like best of both worlds. You win the game, and Pete Alonso comes here to New York, his first visit to New York since departing from the Mets, and kind of sticks up the Mets keister by hitting a whole couple home runs. As we all know, the Mets starving for offense as they're right now on the West Coast after a brutal homestand. And yes, they won the first game against the Angels, who was also a terrible team. And but just that right now the Mets, getting scratching for runs there, and you got someone who you just gave away now starting to really heat up with his bat there. So it's really almost the best of both worlds. But we'll get into the whole thing. But before we get started, make sure you subscribe to this podcast, Section 420 Talkin Yankees, the podcast, wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And of course, there's the YouTube version of the show. Go to YouTube, subscribe there as well. And this is why you want to be a podcast subscriber. You can't get little, thoughts and little random things that pop into my head unless you're a podcast subscriber. So here you go. So as I mentioned, the Yankees are hosting the Baltimore Orioles, kind of homestand followed up by the Texas Rangers. Kind of a quick turnaround. The Yankees were just in Arlington a few days ago, and the Yankees taking the first 2 games of this series. Overall, you could say laughers a little bit. I know, obviously the first game 7-2, and Will Warren is dealing. I mean, he's really turned into something special. I don't want to go too crazy, but he's had a couple now starts in a row like this, or within a small amount of time of double-digit strikeouts and just being dominating stuff. And he's always had the stuff, the velocity. It's just sometimes he gets a little, he's always had control issues in the past. This season now, you're starting to see that he's able to sort of control that stuff. His fastball sometimes it's almost like has got too much movement on it, but now he's able to sort of curtail that in every way, and that's why he's seeing being quite dominant out of the chute. And Ryan Weathers with a kind of ho-hum 5 inning, just gave up 1 run, one of them being a home run to Pete Alonso. Decent enough to go 5 innings to kind of earn the win for the second game. Got a little bit tight there, but then the Yankee offense kind of broke it open a little bit. 2 home runs from Bellinger, a big RBI hit later in the game from Bellinger as well as Jazz. And on the latest YouTube episode, I kind of mentioned that really, Judge hasn't had really a co-pilot kind of his whole way here collectively. You say that, and Ben Rice is kind of becoming that guy, and he did have a big home run in the opening game. But the reason I mentioned is that really Bellinger hasn't really started hitting so far this season. I mean, as good as the Yankee offense has been overall, you would say. Again, there's still a lot to be desired for some guys, and one of them being Cody Bellinger, who's only at the time was only had 3 home runs. Now he's up to 5 now with the 2 home runs he hit in the Saturday game. So as much as we were complaining early on, and I was kind of trying to state, look, there's a lot of offense yet around the corner that guys really haven't started hitting. So as good as the offense has been, I think that it's going to get better. Because guys, really haven't really, got hot yet. We saw Jazz get hot a little bit finally, a couple of cross games in Fenway and then down in the Houston series there. So, and I think there's some more guys around the corner that also are due to get hot as well there. So, a lot of good, news there for the Yankees on that front. But getting back to Pete Alonso, I have no problem with him hitting a few home runs this weekend. Now, only this weekend, just, I don't want this to carry on. Obviously, he signed a 5-year deal with Baltimore, so the Yankees are going to be facing him a lot. But for just this weekend, just to come to New York, his first visit back to the New York area, and again, just to stick it to the Mets by hitting a couple home runs here in his former hometown, I really have no problem with it. I think it's great. Again, as long as the Yankees win the game, fine. He could hit 4 home runs, great. As long as the Yankees win the game, I'm all for it, because again, it's best of both worlds. It's winning the game and a little sidebar of him sticking it to the Mets. And yeah, maybe it messes with the Yankee team ERA and stuff like that. I could cry about that later. But if the Yankees win the game, that all accounts. It's really hard to decide what's better. Enjoying this Yankee season as a fan, as the Yankees doing well right now, 11 games over 500. And this is like when you start counting. You want to first get to 10 games over 500. Then you want to get to 15, then to 20. And that's when you want to keep building on that. And that's kind of, remember how the Yankees of the late 90s Yankees were like that. And you want to get it to just around the All-Star break. That's you want to get around 20 to 25 games over 500. I mean, ideally, that's where you'd like to be. Obviously, a lot remains to be seen, but the way this team's clicking right now and going, that seems very plausible, very possible. I mean, back to 2022, the Yankees got near 40 games over 500, and that's when we thought maybe they might outdo the 1998 Yankees. But nevertheless, as we all know, the Yankees kind of faltered the second half of the season, kind of limped into playoffs, and then got smoked by the Astros in the playoffs there. So great start to the regular season, did not end well. So again, we don't want to go too high on our horses, but I think this Yankee team 2026 is way better, much better in a lot of different areas than that 2022 team. So I don't foresee that type of second half falter there, but nevertheless, team clicking well right now. I mentioned at the top there, Dominguez, we're kind of waiting on word about him. Took a ball off the elbow, and it's a big tell for him to come up here and then to get hit plunked and be out for a month or something. Something breaks. So turns out they did take X-rays in Texas. It was inconclusive, so they waited until he came back to New York on Thursday. Had a CAT scan and didn't show there's any sort of structural damage or anything like that. So again, we go breathe a sigh of relief from there. And as for some other guys, close to returning, Volpe. The plan for him is to stay in Double-A this weekend, and then after the Sunday game, the finale against Baltimore, they'll decide what they want to do with him. Boone kind of mentioned they're in no super rush to have him back, and I think a lot of it has to do with Cabarello, who's kind of picked it up with the bat right now. And I think defensively, maybe Boone likes Cabarello a little bit better than Volpe there, so maybe that's kind of Boone sort of well, take your time, don't worry. Now, obviously, if Cabarello was kind of struggling the way he was a few weeks ago, maybe they'd rush Volpe back a little bit. But again, Cabarello has picked it up with the bat, also had a home run in the Friday opener against the Orioles. And as for Volpe, collectively in both Double-A and Triple-A, has been hitting .303 with 1 home run and 3 RBIs. And another Yankee close to returning, that's Carlos Rodon, Thursday in the same Double-A Somerset, went 5 1/3 inning. Now the plan for him is to have one more start, definitely going to be in Triple-A, and then after that, it's a toss-up. They might bring him right back to the team so he could join the Yankees, or they might give him this one more rehab start. So either way, you're definitely looking like Rodon will join the Yankees in the month of May. So whether that's 2 starts from now, 3 starts from now, but the way it shapes out, he should be in the rotation coming back in May. Now you might ask, well, why is Cole taking all these starts and Rodon only needs 1 or 2? Well, it's a different situation. I mean, Cole's coming back from the Tommy John surgery. I mean, again, a guy hasn't pitched in 14, 16 months there. So, he's got to build up a lot more arm strength and stretch himself much more than Rodon. Rodon just had, again, his procedure was different. Just to take a few chips out of his elbow. Not that it's, nothing to sneeze about, but it's definitely less invasive and less destructive than, would you say, a Tommy John surgery there. So, he just needs a little bit more of a fine-tuning versus Cole needs a full build-up. And so right now, if I had to guess with Cole, possibly late May. You could also look at early June. But again, the Yankee starting rotation has been great so far overall. The only kind of blip in the screen has been Luis Gil. But other than that, no rush to get those 2 horses back. Schlittler's been money, obviously, outdueling Jacob deGrom there in Texas, and Max Fried has been Max Fried. Weather's been good. Will Warren had mentioned he's really come on as late there. Luis Gil's we're not sure about him, and they sent him down to AAA. Work on some things. Mainly they were concerned about the velocity being down, and I kind of mentioned this in the recent YouTube episode. It's well, if his velocity is only topping out around 93, 94, and we're used to him being 98, 99, well, I don't think they think sending him to the minors is going to magically add 4 miles per hour to the fastball. So maybe still hurt. And the guy kind of referenced he had the lat injury last season. He came back and really wasn't that effective. Did get 1 playoff start, but they kind of yanked him out early. But maybe still hurt with that thing. I don't know. This is a little bit mysterious there. But again, the Yankees are in no super rush to have Cole and Rodon come back. They can take their time, and hopefully, they don't disrupt the flow right now because things are clicking quite well. The Yankees again 22-11, 2 games up in the AL East. Tampa's actually come on a little bit late there, but I don't worry about them at this point. And the rest of the AL East is kind of meh. More or less there. Again, Baltimore made some big moves this offseason, try to make a push there. They find themselves 3 games below 500. And, of course, the Mets floundering. It's just hard to what's better, enjoying this Yankees season or just how the Mets are just suffering terribly right now. Obviously, that final game against the Nationals at home, former Yankee Luke Weaver serving up a huge 2-run home run to choke away a lead there, and they lose that game. 4-3, also, robbing Soto of a home run as well. I mean, some of these Met losses have just been amazing to watch, astronomically enjoyable to watch there. So it's hard to determine what's more enjoyable, watching the Mets the way there's crumb like this, or this way this Yankee season's going. I know be a gracious winner, not laugh at the Mets there in the pitifulness, but you can't help it. And to have it both at the same season with a little side dish of Boston struggling. Again, this is coming together. The season's coming as good as you could hope. And again, hopefully that happens. And again, that's why you kind of want to see Pete Alonso kind of have have a couple good moments in New York there. Now after this series, that's it. This offer is only extended for this opening one time, first time back in New York weekend. So again, if he wants to hit some more home runs while he's at Yankee Stadium to stick it to the Mets, I'm all for it. As long as the Yankees win the game. Catch you next time.